muted though. Give us something to look at. On our end, anyway.
Come on. Do your thing. Greetings, ladies and germs. Kage right here back at you as I promised you last night / this morning. Sorry, had to deal with a little problem there. With the kind of review the developer kind of creature. We've actually got two tonight, or today, or whatever time it happens to be for y'all there. But usually Mello joins me on this. I think he may have passed out on me. It's okay. It's actually getting quite early where he is. So we're going to try and run this solo and see how this works. I have with me 25 Monkey Man 25, also known as the Goddamn Purple Cucumber.
Hey.
Representing a studio that is probably going to get renamed in the next little bit. They currently refer to themselves as Black Talon Studios, and maybe you folks in the chat will give us another name here, so that maybe we can find something that actually works. Black Talon Studios is apparently the name of a developer in what was it, Norway?
It was the Netherlands.
The Netherlands, a Dutch concern. So we kind of don't want to step on their toes, but they've got a game they want to talk about, and then we're going to have some chat about digital homicide, assuming that Mello can wake up in enough time to bring us some of the footage that we need to do that. So with that, let's get this job haze grade underway. Before we get into the review of the developer, we're going to have a little discussion here about this lovely thing. Tech Raptor yesterday reported, or actually day before yesterday, reports that YouTube has taken a new step into dealing with ContentID claims. As we all know, ContentID has been an absolutely lovely abusive thing wherein someone can make a claim on the content automatically and take your money or prevent you from making money or even banning bits of it in various countries, murdering your audio, any one of a million things that they could possibly do to screw with you, your YouTube channel, and all the marbles. One of the biggest gripes we've ever had at this point is the thing where if you could have potentially monetized it, they'll do it for you and then they get the money. And if by some chance you do manage to make a defense for fair use, then they get to keep the money, whatever money they've collected, and then you can have it back. Well, okay, great, fine, wonderful, absolutely friggin' brilliant. This isn't actually work. It shouldn't actually work this way. And apparently, effective very soon here, or even immediately, they've decided that they're going to put the money in a little piggy bank sort of side account, and when a decision finally gets made as to whether or not what you're doing is fair use or not, then whoever it is that wins gets the money.
I think that's a good few steps into the right direction, at least, because these things have been getting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a good step in the right direction, at least, because from what I've been seeing from around, they've been that. Still though, there's a few problems with it, so hopefully they'll still continue to work on it. But this is a big leap in the correct direction.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the kind of heavy handed approach they've been taking, where you could be, your content could be claimed for any little thing from just background music in the game to maybe even mentioning it. I've heard at its worst cases.
Hell, satire I know has been put into it, with like Nostalgia Critic, he's gotten to the point where he won't even show footage anymore because they get so many copyright strikes.
Well, when I started doing this, I was showing footage all the time. I stopped doing it after a while because I was sick to death of having to worry about who exactly was going to do a content ID claim next.
Yeah,
Knowledge and love, hello. How are you today? Thanks for dropping by.
let me check chat. Have a look.
We got knowledge and love in the chat now, and I'm pretty sure we'll get some more here as time wears on a little bit. But all the revenue from the ads played on the video would go to the third party. Would go to the third party originally, and none to the creator. And then, even if the creator was found to be in the rights, revenue that the other party collected during the time wouldn't be given back to the winner. Well, that's the part they're changing. We're still looking at the um, we're still looking at copyright claims just being honored regardless of circumstances. But we're gonna. But I'm pretty sure that if we keep the where's the fair use pressure on, then hey, maybe they'll do a little bit more work into put a little more work put more work into it. It'd be nice if we could actually get hold of a real human being at YouTube. That would be brilliant.
Yeah, especially since their office building, isn't like a massive Google construct. I mean,
No,
Jesus.
no, no. I would be more inclined to believe that if YouTube starts costing them too much money, that they'll start uh, they'll start off by spinning YouTube back off into a separate entity again, and maybe we'll get back some of the shit that Google took away from us, like the ability to do response videos. I would love to have that. I didn't start really doing much in terms of YouTube until that process came to exist. Or excuse me, until it was phased out of existence. It disappeared. I think it was 3 or 4 months before I really got into it, and they were still complaining about that at the time.
Yeah, I'm
So
just this is going to be an interesting thing that they go down because Google itself, I don't know if they'll ever really get rid of it because they've been operating this thing at a loss since they purchased it, like a huge loss too. I think the best that they've done is maybe lost not a ridiculous cool amount of money, but because it's Google, they've got more money than God at this point. So they don't care. They can just keep throwing it. I mean, Google itself, I like the company in some ways, and in others, I just kind of wonder what the hell's going on. Like Google Fiber, I'm glad they're doing because
well,
that'll,
that wasn't actually a bad idea, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, that would take on the oligopoly of all the internet providers,
I
which is
agree.
good. However, right now they're also running a monopoly of YouTube. There is no competition for YouTube. I mean,
Well,
Twitch.
there are other platforms. I mean, Vimeo works quite well for some people.
Ah, fair enough. I
Uh,
haven't seen much in the way of Vivio is the thing.
Yeah,
but
well,
then
there's
you
plenty of competition, but it's no
It's not
question
making
who's
enough
on
of the
top.
market.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you
just
know who's on top of the market, and that's YouTube right now.
it's just
well,
it's too giant.
there's also Facebook, but anybody that even clicks on a Facebook video, that it gets a view and trends as if somebody actually sat and watched it for a while. Whereas with YouTube, somebody's actually got to sit there for at least 30 seconds before it gets counted as a view.
Yeah, I think you were talking about the other night with Zach's. Was it Zach's?
It was extra, yeah,
Yeah,
most
about
likely.
how if you are doing an ad, you have to watch the first 30 seconds for you to get any revenue off of it.
Yeah, that was during last night's stream. We were
Yeah,
talking about that.
yeah, fair enough. I think yeah that it was which is kind of sucks, but I can understand why they want to do that because you actually
Well,
have to see the ad.
Well, you're actually going to have to see at least part of the ad. I got that information originally from Mundane Matt. They were talking about they're talking about a 6 sec. They're instituting a 6 second non-skippable advertising thing
Oh,
uh,
so
that are more suited to the videos that run in 2 and 3 minute chunks.
okay, so it's just a 6 second little ad.
Yeah, and you can't skip it. It's just there, but you're not going to spend 4 minutes at this point watching an ad watching an ad, being forced to watch an ad just so you can click into a 2 minute video.
Yeah, or like from time to time, even a minute and a half to a minute long video.
Well, those could even be as long as 8 minutes. And there are YouTubers, in fact, that use that system to kind of to put one of their shorter videos in front of something, and then the ad becomes a clicking link that goes to their channel or to some specific video that they want people to see.
Yeah,
There
I've
are
been noticing.
you can
There's
pay you can it's funny, you can pay YouTube to get traffic so that YouTube can then pay you.
well, I also know that YouTube is not very profitable, like at all. And I still don't know how some of these companies manage to even stay afloat using YouTube.
It's the exposure. I mean, any kind of publicity is still publicity, good, bad. As long as people are hearing your company's name, that's more people looking into your company. And
Except that if they're hearing it in some negative light, they might look into your company and then jump the bandwagon. Ah, there we go. Hello, Master Demonsword. I know you're having a microphone issue or some such thing, so we're actually going to read your stuff here off the side chat,
Oh, okay.
and he will put his comments there, and I will read them back. And then answers can be answers.
Okay, fair enough. Um, but yeah, I've been noticing that YouTube, ever since I started watching, especially, has gone into ridiculous changes. Like, I've seen more and more people start building companies out of it. But I've also seen more and more people start going to use their Patreon accounts instead of just trying to live off of like YouTube money itself.
Well, AdSense does make up a significant portion of a lot of YouTubers' income. I have a Patreon account myself. I have a couple of other things. I've got a PayPal link that can be donated to. There's a lot of different ways to do that. I actually had somebody use the fan funding link on my channel page, which was good. I absolutely love it. I absolutely adored it. And I wasn't sure exactly when I saw the little spike in the amount of money made. I'm going, I don't have any views that did this, and I finally went and poked my nose in at somebody, and I don't know who because YouTube won't tell me. That person can tell me if they want to. I'm not going to ask that they do that. But if they feel like it, they can let me know who it was, and I owe them. I offer them a. I have to offer them a very heartfelt thank you from everyone here.
Fair enough. Hmm. But yeah, it's good to see that YouTube's finally stepping into the right direction. Because some of this content stuff, especially if I've been watching a channel. He's not ridiculously huge, but he's not very tiny either. Probably consistent 500,000 views across most videos. And
Wait, who are we talking about now?
Mysterious Mr. Inner. I don't know.
I don't know him personally. I don't know of him personally.
TV and movie review stuff.
Ah, okay. That's probably why. 'Cause I don't do a lot. I spend a lot of my time running around the gaming and atheism sorts of videos. So I don't really get into TV and movie reviews, mostly because they tend to include spoilers that I want no part of.
Fair enough. No, this is more like
Kind of a thing with me.
cartoon and animated stuff because I love
So,
animated
having not heard of this guy, I hadn't actually heard of the Nostalgia Critic till Jim Sterling and Monday mentioned them.
Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. But yeah, he recently was talking about having, his channel bombarded with by an Australian company that was using multiple different people to copyright claim the crap out of the videos that he was
Yeah.
posting. And I mean, that's crummy in all, every means of the freaking word.
Well, it's called copyright squatting, and people do that. Precisely because the Content ID system and the current DMCA claim system work the way they do on YouTube. It's actually quite lucrative in some ways.
Yeah, he got extremely mad and basically sat down and said, "Leave me alone or sue me." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess after a while, people just get fed up, and I can understand completely why."
Yeah, I
That's
can well imagine myself.
Yeah, well,
All
I would
right.
be angry too if I was running a YouTube channel and I had a decent sized following and suddenly people were trying to copyright my content and basically lay claim to my work because even if I'm reviewing something, I still had to put in the work to make the review.
Right. And that's actually Digital Homicide's entire argument. We made the game, we made the game, we made the gameplay, and you are violating our copyright because we don't like what you had to say.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of companies need to really learn is copyright. One, non-American companies typically get a lot of the laws wrong because they try to go by their national laws as opposed to American law. And because YouTube's an American company, uh, they abide solely to American law.
Right.
Uh, because
They're not
they
they're
put
not beholden to they're not beholden to any, strictly speaking, they're not beholden to anyone but United States law. They try their best, I think, in some cases to respect international copyright law, but the laws, but we don't have a uniform setup for the Western world. I mean, if Europe could come up with, if we could get one thing that works in Europe, we could get another one that works in the U.S., one that works in the Far East, and then kind of put them all together and make one uniform concept by means of some sort of international negotiation, then maybe we could stop some of the crap that goes on.
it's getting to the point where it's just ridiculous. And even Hollywood, American companies, like this guy who made that movie Cool Cat or whatever, Cool Cat
Oh
Saving.
yeah, that guy. He abused the. Yeah, he tried to chew the nostalgia critic a new ass
Yeah,
because
he
he
tried to.
didn't like he didn't like the fact that it got panned.
Oh yeah, he was so mad, and he had no idea about copyright law at all.
Yeah.
And he proved that by going in and talking about basically trying to say that he was right and proving that he had no idea what in the world was going on.
Well, and that's the same thing Digital Homicide did. Um, they said that fair use required that the review be quote unquote fair by whatever nebulous definition that they were working from at the time. Mostly, it says that you couldn't pan. Mostly, they were thinking that you couldn't pan the work that had been done. Not that there was any real evidence any work had been done.
Yeah, there's a difference between like a negative review and slander, and I think that's all what most people forget.
Yeah, well, what a lot of people end up mixing up with a negative review is slander. Is look, if you make a game and someone doesn't like it, that may hurt your feelings because they gave you a bad review, but that's not slander.
No,
That's
it's
just
not slander.
a review.
It's not slander. It's not slander. It's not even slander. See, the thing is, under U.S. law and under actual general common law, um, it's the truth is a complete defense in terms of tort law. So if I said point blank that digital homicide is shit, That's my opinion. Okay, if I said that the slaughtering grounds was complete garbage, that's also my opinion. And based on most of what we have, most of the evidence we have thus far, it's also entirely true. You just have to look at the list of Steam reviews to see what was going on, to see that in action. Um, it.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
slander until you start lying on their name, like just an outright lie meant to damage their reputation. If
The
I
other
say I don't like your game because the art, the gameplay is all unoriginal and doesn't even work well, that's not slander. That's just my honest opinion. Until I tell a lie, I'm completely within my rights.
Yeah, I mean I don't think you've seen any of the gameplay, but
I've seen
it's
it.
oh you have?
Yes,
Oh, it's atrocious.
it's terrible.
But
okay.
yeah,
However, if I, knowing full well, hey, lovely, it's Catherine's in the chat. Hi. Actually, it's just me and Demonsword is watching slash listening in for his commentary, and we're having some other things going on here. Um, Mello has yet to turn up, and I'm kind of hoping he will at some point because he's got most of the digital homicide footage. Hey, and Richard, nice to see you. We're gonna. Somebody needs to walk Mello on the head though, because he's not paying attention. He's not. I think he may have passed out on me. So,
how long has he been awake?
huh?
How long was he awake?
I don't know. I don't know. I think he. I went off to take a nap about 6 o'clock this morning, and he was up then. I don't know if he like went and had a nap or because he messaged me about an hour and a half before the stream started. Yeah, about an hour and a half before the stream started. Um, telling me I've got a #1 fan in the comments of our last video, and I haven't heard from him since. So, hey, Catherine's got the coffee. Yay!
But yeah, if you want to see someone who can go far too long without sleeping, talk to this guy right here. The
I don't have a name for him.
this is Jay or
Yeah, you just call me Jay. My real name takes a while to pronounce and it's kind of hard to pronounce.
yeah, so we just call him Jay because that's the first letter. So
Okay,
uh,
I won't ask it. It really isn't important at this point. We have something to call you. We're good.
yep. But yeah, I think the longest he's gone is probably about what 80 hours without
I don't
sleeping.
know. Well, when Dragon Age came out, I was up for at least 3 days. So
I think my record so far is about 10. That's okay. I was really messed up that week.
I don't doubt it.
I don't think I could. I can't even do two. Not doing that. Even with all Catherine's coffee, I don't think I can do that.
I keep the good shit here. We're getting some sort of a snarly echo for over there, gentlemen.
Oh, let me see if it might be we're using my phone right now because the mics we have. Oh, that might be why.
For what?
It's the basic. It's 6% battery.
Oh, yeah, that could be bad. Might want to plug that in there, bud.
Yeah, we've got like a friggin' football field long charger we can hook this thing up to, so we're good.
Hey, 100 meters worth of charging cable. How the hell did you get 100 meters worth of USB cable?
If you ever
Lots of time and practice.
if you ever need anything absolutely ridiculous, ask Jay. he one searches through the weirdest parts of the internet and manages to find stuff that I didn't even think was possible.
We all have our hobbies.
Well,
Kickstarter.
I've got hobbies too.
It's about spiders, bears, lions, tigers, etc.
Bats. Everything on Kickstarter, I think he's probably looked through at least twice and spent half of his money on.
Oh, well, you know, I like crowdfunding. I like to help out the everyman.
Well, maybe he'll help. Maybe he'll like help me out with a new computer over here. I'm in dire need of a desktop that's actually capable of running modern games.
What's your budget?
Actually, I think it would probably be better to point you to the Amazon wish list.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Hey, it's a lot.
I have to build. See what's going on here. I'm working off of a 3-year-old laptop, and it's the modern equivalent of a potato. I mean, I don't think even GLaDOS would be real great with this. So
Yeah. Well, we'll have to get you upgraded as soon as we can, I guess.
yeah, that's kind of the way it works. No, actually, Richard, my current laptop was a gaming laptop. It is a gaming laptop. But again, it's more than 3 years old at this point. What I really need to do is get a desktop a really nice desktop. It'll cost quite a bit less. And I can adjust the spec and do upgrades and other such things as I need to. Whereas with this thing, I'm just stuck.
Fair enough. Yeah, I had to switch off of my laptop too. No offense to its previous owner, but it was getting to its lifespan.
You want to say something else?
No, I don't.
Well, when I can set up a modern game and drive my poor GPU into apoplectic fits and 90 to 95 degrees centigrade, shop.
How in the world do you even? You know what?
And that's with a high-speed cooling fan under it. Okay.
Okay then. I don't even think I've pushed mine to half its limit yet.
Yeah. I put together 20 minutes worth of footage for Mirror's Edge, the Mirror's Edge Catalyst beta that went on last weekend, and I kicked the crap out of my machine doing it. I only managed to get 20 minutes of footage because it was just kind of there. I managed to keep enough airflow to it to keep enough for me to get that footage. It was getting close to that 90-degree mark by the time it was over, and I had to shut it down.
My only problem is I don't have enough memory to really record much. I'm probably using over half of it right now, and I haven't recorded a single freaking thing yet.
Well, I've got 12 gigs of RAM on board, so that's not actually my problem. The GeForce 670M has 3 gigabytes that belong to it alone.
I don't even know how many gigs I have anymore. I just assume it's gonna work until something goes wrong.
That's living the life. But that's what I do with my computer too. I recently upgraded, so I'm running a rather modern setup myself. Though I prefer laptop to desktop personally.
Well, generally I do too. Because at the time I bought this thing, I was in school and I was having to have a computer with me at all times. So building a new desktop wasn't really the best idea ever.
That would have been hilarious to watch, though.
Yeah, watch me haul a great big.
Complete with monitor and keyboard.
Yeah,
the entire time. Oh Lord!
All you have to do, you can market this. Create a special backpack. It has like slots for each individual part.
Supports up to 75 pounds.
That would make so many nerds freaking jocks within a week.
Oh yeah.
You know how
that would give so many people back problems. What are you talking about?
No. That's why you put a combat frame on it. You attach the whole thing to a frame like a rucksack, and it would just be absolutely brilliant. You just have to be able to accommodate several different sizes of case.
After a while, it'd be the nerds would now be the ones with legs that look like freaking power lifters.
Yeah.
So.
So.
Just walking around carrying John's computer all the time.
Massive.
This thing is like a good 3.5 feet by 2 feet. Like, this is a monster machine.
Oh yeah,
The case is just...
just huge.
I'm the only one who will carry it, and it's not even because like I am paranoid, which I am. It's because I'm the only one who can hold it for more than a few minutes.
That's mostly just because it's awkward. It's mostly empty. You can store pizza in there and everything.
Oh, damn.
Please tell me you haven't stored a pizza in my computer.
Yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that. That would be really, really, really bad.
You wouldn't have a
No, but once you just load up Dark Souls 3 and then like Fallout 4 at the same time, you can cook it that way too.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, but what were you saying? Sorry, we interrupted you. What were you saying?
Yeah. Back on topic.
Actually, you know what? I'm not sure exactly where we were going with that. We kind of got sidetracked. It does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with this group of people here, we'd be talking about anything and it'd end up on something absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
But we'll try not to derail your show.
Well, no, actually, this is the kind of thing that actually helps some people. I know it certainly helps me to kind of get an idea of what you guys are like normally, so I can work out exactly what I can ask you and not piss you off.
I think the only thing you ever have to worry about is asking us about.
I can't think of anything.
Nah, not for you, because you ask stuff that makes people mad more than people ask you stuff that makes you mad.
I just want the truth.
I think the easiest way to make any one of us mad is insult either one of our favorite games or Nintendo, because we've got a Nintendo head back here, and if he hears anything bad, he will argue with you for the next 5.5 hours.
Okay.
Or I'll just agree because I'm sad.
Yeah.
I had this man corner me in the hallway and scream, "What's going on?" He just started screaming at me because I said something about Pokemon, and I shouldn't have.
You know, I don't actually have any problems with Pokemon. Some of No Friendo's policies I take issue with, but
That's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a mega corporation, and I do understand that. Like, they have to make their money, and I try to keep that in mind when speaking about any large, company, YouTube, Google. Yeah, though I guess they're like basically the same,
Hey,
or Nintendo, but they do tend to get to a point where their policies just kind of, they ignore the needs of the normal consumer.
Well,
Say.
no, they
They
ignore
screw
the needs.
themselves.
They ignore the needs of international consumers. They're really into Japan at the moment, which I can understand why.
Yeah, it's their country.
Yeah, especially since right now Pokemon's losing out in Japan. But on topic, I wonder how Nintendo's going to start doing all of this.
Well, they already set up their I'll call it their YouTube club, where you are sponsored by them, and any Nintendo content, or really, as far as I've heard, any content you post, they get was it 30% cut of?
more than that.
More than that?
More than that. Well, more than that.
It was 50, wasn't it?
It was 50 for an individual video, and I think it's like, well, no. It's 50 if you're partnered with them, and it's like 75 if you're not.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is. It's a lot.
And what they, I know they realize it, but what they fail to care about is that's like chopping right into a man or woman's livelihood. Because some people do this for their, to pay their bills.
It's also free marketing. Even if the game is badly reviewed, it's going to get more people are going to know about it, so more people are going to want to check it out to see if it's as bad as what it is, or if it's still worth going through despite how bad it is, or because of how bad it is.
Yeah, like I've heard, I've seen some reviews of some games, like I think it was called Riot to Hell Retribution, that got trashed in its reviews, but because of the publicity from large YouTubers reviewing it, you can find it in a lot of stores. It's still a bad game, though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
No, the other one that got panned real good, and this is actually a Nintendo thing, was Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U. All of the feminists came out to brag on it because Bayonetta is overly sexualized. And the only thing I could really say to that was, it's a Bayonetta game. What the hell did you expect?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bayonetta's probably the most badass.
Oh yeah.
That
Uh,
if you want a strong female lead, I would say Bayonetta, because not only is she going to kick the ever-living crap out of whatever you put in front of her, she can literally summon a demon goddess thing to punch meteors out of the friggin' sky like nobody's business. If anything, feminists should adore her.
yeah,
Well,
I know.
tend to
Hey, and to top it
contradict
off,
itself, so.
she's a very large woman who's very hairy.
And she has no fucks to give about what anybody thinks of her. She has this idea in her head that she is absolutely gorgeous, and she is going to play it for all she's friggin' worth.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, she has, in terms of a perfectly liberated female, Bayonetta is about as good as you're gonna get. They seem to like Jade from.
Mortal Kombat.
No. They really don't like her. No,
Right.
God damn, what was the name of that game?
are you talking about the one that the almighty evil con artist of Sarkeesian was talking about?
Yeah, that's the one. I forget the name of the game off the top of my head.
It was
And
some little kid's game. It was like Y7. I can't even remember what it was called.
Sound Good and Evil, that was it.
Oh man, I got over here and I was like, nah, it couldn't be it.
Like I can't even. No, my favorite female character has to be Samus, because Samus will kick your teeth in and not care.
Oh yeah.
mean,
I don't know. There was one thing I agreed with the feminists on as far as Samus Aran, and that was what Nintendo did to her for the most recent. For the most recent one, she has all of these abilities, but they're locked away based on what this guy here seems to think that she needs. And that's completely contrary. And it's not that I have a problem with her
Released in
interacting with
2010.
the man. She displays symptoms of Stockholm syndrome on top of, because she knows she has these things, but she refuses to use them because the daddy figure didn't say she could, and that is a gross destruction of her character.
Well,
And
another thing
that's
that
what I took offense to. That's what I took offense to.
another one that I actually managed to agree with feminists on, which surprised even me, was there was I can't remember. I think it was Metal Gear Solid 5's demo.
Uh-huh.
There was, if you follow through, it's a really cool sequence. You basically have to use audio cues from recordings you find from the kid and the chick from the I can't remember their names because I'm awful with names. But you go all the way through this. You'll go through all the way through this mission, and you unlock like a secret little extra bit, and you expect something really cool from Metal Gear Solid games because they're goofy in their own right, but they're fun.
Uh-huh.
What it was is literally this. They were essentially. It really made me mad because they were just trying to show that. What was it? It was the kid and the woman. This like 10. I think he was what 13 in this game.
I haven't played the
13-year-old
game,
kid.
so.
He's like 13, and the kid basically starts having sex with the 26-year-old woman. Like they get forced to by the guards or something like that. And so I'm like, this is a reward for completing this. It was a reward that you unlocked, and I was like, that's so bullshit.
Yeah,
Why would you ever?
Well,
Just
that's problematic for completely different reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for a
that's
number of reasons.
really
I
wrong.
I hadn't heard about that until now, but I can see many issues.
I think
with it.
NerdCube made a video on it like a while back. It was
Well, I would have to go. I would have to go look. I think I'm actually subscribed to NerdCube, but I haven't looked. I haven't looked at it in a while. Anyway, so let's talk about you guys for a little bit. Now that we've kind of beat some of this other stuff to death, how did you guys get together to form studio?
well, actually, that's kind of a funny story because all of us have been friends for years at this point.
Pretty much.
And what happened was probably about a year ago now.
Just a year and a half.
Yeah.
About a year and a half. Three of us, with a friend of ours who isn't really with us anymore. He's not dead. He's
That's the most awkward phrasing.
that was
He's not dead. No, he's just in the trunk. Don't worry.
No, he went to college. We kind of drifted apart, which it happens.
Yeah.
He's got cool friends now, so more power to him. But what happened was we went on this camping trip, and while we were there, it was crap. Like we got rained on the entire time. We couldn't drink the water because it was all like contaminated. It really sucked. But while we were out there, we saw some gorgeous scenery. We got to explore around these cliffs. We got to walk around this little town that just kind of looked out of its own time in its own little way. And it was just really nice. And because we were kind of stuck in our tents while it poured down rain, we just started talking about, what would this be like if this was a horror setting. From there, we basically started spitballing this game. And so this concept has been in the making since then, really. So we've been trying to find a way to make it into something. It originally started out with each of us being one of the characters and so on and so forth, having different things. It went from text-based to kind of like an RPG maker to kind of various other things, but we've never really gotten any traction with it.
Other than concept.
Yeah. Right now, we're still in conceptual phase, but we're actually gaining traction.
Which is a good thing.
Oh yeah, finally. We're still not going to start up any GoFundMes or anything until we have a definitive start.
Until we have like a good idea, a good solid foundation of concept and what we want to do with storyboarding, characters, and things like that.
Maybe a playable demo.
Yeah.
Well, a playable demo is usually a really good start.
Yeah, when it comes to it, the Alex right here, or SS, whatever you want to call him, Symbolic, and Griff over here, these two are the ones who are going to be doing a lot of the visuals and a lot of the gameplay stuff, whereas Jay and I are going to be doing more of the story. But we're all still going to be working together because it's freaking four of us plus Griff's older brother. So we're trying to we're kind of, as Griffin said a while back, this is a really ambitious project for such a small group of us.
Yeah.
Well, and I've seen bigger stuff pulled off by much smaller groups. I have my own game concept that a friend of mine and I have been kind of batting back and forth for a while. Kind of another RPG thing that we want to do in Unreal, but we're not there yet, obviously. It's going to take us quite a bit of time. Most of what I do is writing and general planning, design, that kind of thing, and then some of the art assets, and then he's doing kind of most of the rest. And there are lots and lots of tools you can use to make things a little easier. But Richard here says best to take your time. Too many games get rushed.
Yeah, we saw that comment, and we were just waiting to say, like, don't worry, we don't want to rush it. We don't want to end up, putting out something half baked and terrible, and canning our chance to succeed before we even get a real start.
When you look at indie games like Cave Story took what, 10 years?
Something like that. It took a huge. Yeah, Cave Story took an obscene amount of time to do. and at the end of it, it was actually it turned out to be really worth it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take ridiculously long, but if we're gonna make something, I want to make it right. I want to do it real. I don't want to fuck around and have something that, we're gonna look back on and go, "Oh God, why did we ever do that?" I want something where we go, "Man, that's where we started." Because that would just be something awesome. Because I've always loved the thought of just having a freaking business with these guys here. Because then, I ain't got to worry about moving away from them.
yeah, um,
But yeah, I'd rather not work in an office the rest of my friggin' life. I'd love to sit down and watch as my game gets played by tons of people and they just enjoy it. Yeah.
well, and if you're making the game, see, it's always been my experience that if you're making the game that you want to play, other people will want to play it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing we need to do, which sadly happens a lot, like Guns of Icarus for one. I love the game. The lore behind it is freaking awesome. It's a really well done game. However, I don't know what happened, but a lot of their marketing and a lot of their publicity has come in the wrong kind of form. Most people who come into the game, which I think Alex here can probably tell you better, because he's by far the more veteran of the game.
Yeah, I probably put almost about 600 hours into the game. I would say that the marketing tries to appeal to casual gamers a lot, and while casual gamers can certainly enjoy the game, it's more about competitive teamwork. You gotta really be a tight-knit crew to pull together a win. And so if you just want to play a game where you're just screwing around and like not trying to progress, basically, it's gonna be a lot harder for your teammates to pull together a win if you don't want to cooperate.
Right.
Yeah, it's very heavily based on, well, being a freaking crew flying a war machine.
Yeah, like you have to have a certain person on a certain gun and a certain person by a certain component, otherwise everything will fall to crap.
And I don't want to make the same kind of mistake where we send this game out and people start looking into it, and then we send it to certain people and they start looking into it, and they start playing it a certain way that doesn't show what its potential is. It shows something that, may be good for the person's audience. Like the viewership on it might think it's friggin' hilarious, but when it comes back to the game and they see the game and it's like an actually serious, deep game that takes a lot of time that you want to actually get into, I don't want to accidentally turn people away because they're too scared it's gonna be like a commitment to the game.
Yeah, it's like we also want to be careful with marketing, as in when we market the length of it. Not that our game would ever reach anywhere near this length, but we don't want it to seem as big as something, say, The Witcher 3, which I personally never played simply because I don't have time to play a game that large. Like it is huge. I don't have the time for that. We don't want to make it seem daunting for a player to just get into. We want them to know that this is a decent experience. I mean, I almost bought it too, Ant-Man. It looked good. I have a life that I have to take.
And seeing as Jay here 100% every game he gets, and I've seen people put 30 hours into that and not even progress the story by one quest. God knows how long it would take.
Like, yeah. We just want to make sure when we market that it's the game. We don't want to market. We don't want to false advertise, basically.
Exactly. Plus, we're kind of doing a different style of horror within itself. Because, well, I mean, a lot of people have come on to think that horror is like, the new Resident Evil. That's what most people, I assume, will think that horror games are, or something that's just, or like Outlast, where it's going to be, it's a really good game, yes, but it's not what you expect. Like, because I just want something that throws you off, not something that, you walk in and there's that's going everywhere.
Yeah. But horror's a hard genre to do. But just saying, it's because scaring people is not something that's not really my intention so much as to put out something that scares people. I want to put out something that I want to put out something that's scary, but you can still enjoy the experience. Like I don't want to put out the game that has you like hiding in your closet, hoping that the boogeyman doesn't like hop out and eat you. I just want to put that was scary while I played it, but it was it was still fun.
I like to do something relative to that too, because Jay and I are really good off of one another when it comes to writing, because he can write really dark worlds, really dark settings that seem to be lighthearted from the surface, but once you get into them, you're like, wow, that's terrible. I'm kind of the horror mystery guy. I have a lot of stuff that's just freaking awful to imagine that just haunts you. Like, you can ask these three guys right now. We did a game where I had essentially an angel made out of organs fly at them to attack them. They were not happy with me. So,
Oh dear.
yeah.
I missed that game. By the time I came back, the party had reduced it to just bones.
And then bugs had been like eating the dead corpse, and then the bugs got possessed by the dead thing, and it attacked us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. But
Wow. Remind me not to employ you as the dungeon master.
Yeah.
don't worry, I made it killable. It wasn't something that they could. It was supposed to be a hard fight, but not something that was supposed to just kill them.
Yeah.
But anyway,
We don't really play games as far as tabletop. We don't really play tabletop games as dungeon crawlers where PCs will tend to die a lot. We tend to go for more of a role-playing setting where you can just really develop your character.
And that's what we want to transfer to our video game. Or more, we want you to feel like you are the character and that you are having the experience that your character will be experiencing.
Well, actually, that I have a similar thought in my head as far as that kind of thing goes.
that's why I really liked what you were talking about the other day whenever I was discussing the game within itself, and then you brought I can't remember the name of it.
It's the Shin Megami Tensei
Yeah,
and the Persona series.
Okay. See, I really liked the thought of that, where we'll have multiple endings through multiple ways, and I wanted to do the same thing. I just didn't know how in the ever-living God to friggin' do it. I really like what you were talking about, so I'd love to start on that as soon as we can. But that would be something that would just make it all the more fun to do and have a lot more replayability.
Yeah, it would.
So many.
Yeah, but and we could go on all day about how we just want to make it the best we can. But are there any questions that you or chat, if you have any, want to ask like specifically? We're still in a bit of a like even pre-alpha phase. We're still really conceptual, but we'd like to have some questions so we can really you questions,
So let's start with some of the simple stuff. What are you looking at for engines?
I want to do Unreal because I think Unreal, one, it's very pretty. It's a very beautiful engine, and I think it's an easier one to learn. Just because I think Unity's kind of worn. It's sort of lived its lifespan.
Well, you could make some really good games out of Unity. Don't let Digital Homicide get you down.
That's fair. That's fair.
I've seen some really good games done in Unity. I've seen some really bad games done in Unreal. It's just a question of how you use the tools you have.
Yeah.
That's fair.
and they are different, and they are kind of different tool sets. They're designed towards the same sort of concept. Mostly first-person shooters, but they do have their ways to make those modifications. For example, are you looking at a 2D flat kind of thing, or do you want to do models that are running around? How about camera angles, that kind of thing?
I wanted to do sort of a third person, basically an open world, but not like huge, not a
Sandbox.
kind of a sandboxy world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um, no, I wouldn't call it sandbox, but I would.
It's open world, like you said before.
But yeah,
Yeah,
but it's open.
yeah. It's not huge. I don't want
It's
it to
more
be
Because there will be a story you'll have to progress.
Basically,
exactly.
like we
right.
kind of the maps if we were to build them for open world, where you'd explore a lot of each individual area. Because there's a lot of mysteries to discover.
It'd be something in the vein of like how it's map, where it wasn't just a huge map, but it was densely packed. So you always had something to look at in the area. Is what we're going for. We don't want
Okay.
a huge map. We just want a quality.
Right.
Yeah, see the really big tower in the distance and know that you're going to have to fight your lives getting up to the top of that at some point because you're going to have to.
Yeah,
Well,
Uh,
in this case, I don't know if we'll ever have something relative to that, but yeah, essentially where you look out and you see this is the place where I'm gonna find everything that I need.
uh,
Place where I'm gonna find something ridiculous from if you're just looking at it from a bird's eye view. I mean, it wouldn't be obvious, but if you're looking at it, it's like a house every
okay.
point, not just an empty placeholder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. How about difficulty curve? What are you looking at there?
Well, actually, you brought up a good one the other day, which I think we're going to stick with, which was you take a different path, and each path leads to a different difficulty. Like I would probably put lawful as the easiest, or would you put lawful or chaotic as the easiest? I don't know.
I don't. I feel lawful would be easier personally, but
Yeah.
in a in my words, because I'm you know I like so we want to make a game that's difficult but not impossible.
Right.
So we want it to basically be like if you're coming up to a boss, for example, or some sort of monster that you need to slay. Well, we want it to be possible for you to slay the monster if you just walked up to it or stumbled upon it. You didn't catch the hidden cues or clues leading you to its weakness. That could either be an in battle weakness or even an item that you come into possession of before the battle that makes the fight a lot easier. So we want there to be ways to make the fight easier, not necessarily a cakewalk, but we
Uh,
also want you to be able to just fight the boss mano a mano,
right.
just your tattered rags in your club, and still be able to defeat it.
In theory, at least.
Well, yeah, in theory, at least.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to necessarily do it if you just walked into the club. But if you're good at it and you go for it, and you don't just screw around and probably get a little lucky, then you can still do it. Um, but another thing was the difficulty on picking the paths, like neutral being the hardest, and then chaotic and lawful being somewhere in between. I guess lawful would end up being the easiest, chaotic would be moderate, and then neutral would be hard, just from sheer length
Right.
and the more that you come across. And I really like that thought because that puts more into it than, well, this is the good option, so I might as well be good.
um, Now, like I was telling you before, this in the Shin Megami Tensei model, you kind of have you have light and dark, law and chaos. Usually, you are the you are light, and that most of the light critters would just not be there. Everything else would be mostly dark. But the real balance is between law and chaos, where law tends to be has one set of bosses, chaos has a different set of bosses, and if you can manage to walk the line between those two extremes, then you wind up having to face all the bosses and having to kick everyone's ass before you can get the what most people would think of as the best ending.
See, I really like that thought.
Yeah.
That concept sounds really appealing to me.
because it puts more weight behind the decision, which is something that, and we know that this is obviously the hardest part. Well, not obviously. I guess that would vary from person to person. But we know it's very difficult to make a game where the player actually feels like their choices have mattered. Because if you follow a lot of RPGs, that's one thing that you get very mixed responses on from fan bases is
Well,
whether or
and
not they felt their choices mattered.
whether or not their choices actually matter, and whether or not the decisions have any real weight to them.
Yeah,
Even if their choices matter a little bit in terms of the ending, they don't seem to have a lot. They don't carry as much weight as you would think they would if you were the chosen one, for example.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
I don't want to pull another Mass Effect 3 in terms of what light do you want to use to kill everyone.
Don't even start.
Yeah, or something like the Elder Scrolls Online, where you wound up with okay, they build you up during the tutorial section as the chosen one, and now you're looking at 1,000 other people all thinking of they're the chosen one, all looking to all queued up to talk to the same quest giver.
yeah.
Yeah.
If everyone's special, then nobody is.
Mm.
Right, and it's a thing that I find I take issue with in most massively multiplayer games. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more or less the same experience for everybody, so nobody's actually special. It was the thing that they were trying to address in the Matrix Online before it finally tanked. And it was a thing that EverQuest avoided completely, for example, because you're the adventurers. There are people that are not, but nobody is considered more special than anyone else. It was just a question of whether or not you could get the things done that you needed to get done to get more powerful to take on the next huge boss. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that approach too because you don't want to build up the character too much and then they don't feel like they have, like you said, the power they should have. Like if the chosen one is forced to decide whether this kingdom falls or that kingdom falls, in the ending, I feel it should be massively different than somebody saying, then the ending basically saying, well, the kingdom on the right helped them because the kingdom on the left, well, it wasn't there anymore. Like,
yeah,
it shouldn't just be kind of tucked under the rug. It should be a massive change in the ending, and we
but
want to create that experience.
in the Shin Megami Tensei series, what the world becomes and what it actually winds and how everything falls together at the very end depends entirely upon what you've done the entire game.
Yeah.
There's no point, or there was another one, Deus Ex Human Revolution, or no, that wasn't it. Or was it? Let me see. It was it was the because I think Human Revolution is the one that's releasing here soon. Let me see. Let me just grab that. That was the game I was playing last. So, where'd it go? Here, yeah, it was Deus Ex Human Revolution. Uh, and at the end of the game, you had a single play. You're at a point where you could save, and then you picked one of three buttons for three different endings. And yes, that decision had weight, but it was cheap.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
it didn't feel like the rest of your decisions mattered. It was just like, well, you can do whatever you want at the ending. None of that matters.
But
Just
it's the button-o-matic at the end, and that shit drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually by about 2/3 of the way through a Shin Megami Tensei game, you've already kind of you've gotten most of your attitude locked in, and the characters' decisions to that point have done it to you. Um, but for the neutral road, if you wanted to, if you've been walking the neutral line all of this time, you get all the way to the end, and then you finally have to make a decision. And usually that decision involves you getting into a fight that you may or may not be ready for.
Fair
But
enough.
then Shin Megami Tensei games and Atlas games in general are seen as exceedingly difficult to get through in some cases. TV tropes has a they have a category, a trope called that one boss, and Atlas for all of the games for across all of the games they have so many incidents of that one boss were directly related to Atlas games that Atlas got its own friggin' page.
Yeah, well, I can
Yeah.
believe that because I played this game from Atlas. I believe it was called Conception 2 Children of the Seven Stars.
Oh yeah, that's actually a favorite.
Yeah, I really like it. I like I can't remember her name. I think it started with an N. She had the blue hair. She was the student council president.
Narika.
Narika, yeah, that was it. That was my favorite character from it.
She was the vice representative for the second year elite class.
Okay. Yeah, she was great. And the rest of the characters were great too for people who haven't played it. Like it was a really good game. But I have to say when you got to the seventh dungeon, the difficulty hop or the seventh labyrinth as they were called in game. The
Mm-hmm.
difficulty hop was just so sudden.
Yeah,
In my opinion. It was just like, this game hasn't been that hard. And then suddenly it's just like
but suddenly you're getting your ass kicked for no reason that you can determine.
you just have to go back and look and just rethink your entire play style. And
Yep.
good to a degree, but it was like
The boss
it
at
was
the end of that dungeon was absolutely epic.
it was.
I mean, it also makes sense from if you want to be like an immersion standpoint, because think of it this way: you're never going to be able to go into every single fight. Like if you were, say, a, like a commando, you're never going to be able to go into every single fight and just kick the thing's ass. It's always going to be a fight, and there's eventually going to be a bigger, badder motherfucker than you are, and it's just how you deal with it. That
How did Qui-Gon Jinn put that again? Oh yeah, there's always a bigger fish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is actually probably the only really good thing that came out of the first quote unquote episode of Star Wars. But that's me. uh, we don't talk about midi-chlorians. That's just wrong.
I'm still like confused on whether or not they're even canon. Because the director of The Force Awakens, when they asked him, he said he wasn't gonna erase anything, but then he said he's never mentioning midichlorians. So I'm just stuck in limbo now. I don't know what they are anymore.
Oh, if you look really closely in Jakku, you can actually see Jar Jar Binks' bones.
I didn't see that.
They're on screen for like 2 seconds, maybe. I bet like there's probably a video on YouTube somewhere that shows it, but J.J. Abrams said, yeah, nobody's ever gonna find it, but there's Jar Jar Binks' bones in Jakku somewhere.
Now I'm going to have now you know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to break out the I'm going to have to break out the Blu-ray for that and go click 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 until I find those frames. I'm going to have to do this now, and it's all your fault.
Look what you did, John. You're gonna make him watch it.
You're gonna make me watch that movie again just to find those frames.
Hey, I'm gonna be looking for them too. Don't worry.
Yeah, except that you can't last as long as him.
Yeah, I'll start searching through the internet because I can probably find it soon.
Oh, so you're gonna cheat?
Yes.
Cheater.
I am. Everything is fair in love and war.
But yeah,
Please.
Please.
Mention has no hold on me.
but yeah. So when it's been I really like the points you brought up, especially referring to the Shin Megami Tensei series because or was it Tensei?
Tensei.
Tensei.
I never I never got into them personally as far as playing them goes, but I have heard a lot of great feedback from them. And from what you told me, it sounds like that feedback has been with good reason.
If
So
you've got a Nintendo a Nintendo DS, I would recommend a DS or a 3DS, your choice. I would recommend Strange Journeys. Or if you happen to be an Apple abuser, you can get the original Shin Megami Tensei game. I think I picked it up for free or for really cheap from the Apple Store. I have it on my old Generation 3 iPod right now. And
okay.
then they have an untranslated version of 2 also on the store there. I think they want $5 or $6 for it. Ant Man, Auntie says you want Jar Jar dead, and I'm gonna put it this way: who doesn't want Jar Jar dead?
Jar Jar.
Jar Jar, Jar Jar. If you follow the first 3 episodes, Jar Jar goes from this blithering idiot in the first movie to the one that is solely responsible or is ultimately responsible for the formation of the empire.
Oh yeah, because he
Yeah.
becomes a senator.
Yep.
He has to take Amidala's place as the senator from Naboo, and
Probably his fault. Order 66 was passed.
well, Order 66 is a different issue, but he's the one at the end of episode 2 that makes the speech to give Palpatine emergency powers.
That's because Jar Jar was easy. It was easily manipulated, seeing as you could probably hold an apple in front of his face and get him to do anything. He was that stupid.
Yeah. He was basically like a kind of joke character who got too much power suddenly.
Yeah, well, lovely. Atheist Catherine says, "Die!"
Yeah, I saw a life-size statue of him at one of the cons, and not even 2 days later, apparently somebody had bought it and put a video online where they took a 12 gauge uh, full of I don't even, I think it was just flat out buckshot. They just tore that thing apart. It was glorious.
That thing that's kind of funny. So let's go over the premise for this game of yours. Aside from camping trip,
Oh, yes. Well, I've been talking to Jay here for about it a bit, and we've started to agree on it as about a fallen angel having landed there, right?
Yeah, that's one of the ideas we've had recently. Was perhaps this it's a town you visit. We're not gonna go too far on the camping trip angle because we want you to get invested in the NPCs we create.
Right.
So we want it to be a town you visit. The
Okay.
reason
Yeah,
why,
not so much on the survivalist camping trip angle, so much as camping trips just basically why you got there.
yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
why
Okay.
you're actively in the freaking town.
yeah, and the angel landing, it's as you might expect, a being of that power and stature landing in a place is gonna begin to have an effect on the environment, which it has for a long time now, but it's becoming more and more apparent recently. And you just begin to notice things, and natural human curiosity is what's going to push you to begin searching. It's not going to be a specter appears to you and tells you it's your job to find this out or to stop this. It's going to be the natural human instinct to explore the unknown. The same reason we want to know what's at the bottom of the sea, the same reason your mom doesn't like it when you close doors in the house. the same reason we send shuttles into space is to find out what's going on. And
Right.
that's how you're going to start the game. Just you hear something, you wonder maybe, hey, is this an animal I've never seen? Or, yo, could that be a person that needs help? Or maybe you just go, oh, what was that noise? Well, might as well go check it out. Came in the forest to camp and explore anyway. And that's what's going to set you on, that's going to be the starting point, the origin of your journey.
What we
Hmm.
so we've been planning. Yeah, Griff and I here have been talking about what we're gonna do for ambient noise, and that's what I think is gonna bring a lot of people into the immersion. Is what we're doing for that.
Well, for that, we like right now we're working on ideas just to even create the noises, but we really want to focus on it to make it as realistic as it possibly can because I feel like that would really it's going to be a big part of what brings you into the game, which that makes it feel like you're really there.
Yeah, we want to make it uncanny.
Basically, like if you've ever played Starbound, like how fantastic the like so put that I've had it rain in Starbound, and it sounded so realistic. I almost thought it was actually storming outside my house.
Uh-huh.
I want it to be just kind of that good. If we can get it as good as we can, I want it to be that good.
Right. Also, I've been spitballing enemy ideas with Griff here, and I think we have one that
So
would
fun.
terrify the biggest, baddest MFer that you can find. Um, it's just what we have so far is you walk up. I don't even know if this will be the first enemy you encounter or if this is just going to be a random one. I hope it's a random one because I feel like it would just scare the ever living crap out of people. Um, but you walk up and there's a woman standing. It could be in the rain, could just be standing in the forest, dressed in a way that doesn't suggest being outside. Uh,
Uh,
and as you approach her, her head 180s and her arms and legs bend the wrong way, and then she comes crawling at you at a sprinter's pace.
damn. I've seen
So,
a few like that.
so I want it to just basically cause something where you go, this isn't right, and you know something in the back of your head is like, this is going to be something screwed up. She's going to turn around, and it's going to be, and this does that. I don't care. It's going to make you jump out of your seat. At least
Yeah, I can well imagine. The thing is, I can actually visualize it from what just from your description, which says quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
like I said, I love horror, and I love
Uh,
psychological, uncanny horror most of all. So I want to make stuff that's going to scare you, and I'm not one for cheap jump scares. I'm one for something that's just so wrong that it throws you through a loop.
and you know what? Fair enough. I have picked on people in the past for that kind of thing. You know, cheap jump scares are a thing that I despise.
Yeah, like I can't stand like Five Nights at Freddy's. They did good with atmosphere, but really it's no longer being scared because you know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're just more like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, another animatronic is in my face. Yeah, whoop de freaking do.
Yeah, that tends to happen, especially when you get then you have 1,000,006 clones of the
Yeah,
same damned game, and it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Oh God, another Five Nights at Freddy's Sloan, and the game's only been out a week. Whatever.
And when it's that easy to clone your game, no disrespect to who made Five Nights at Freddy's,
like
because
Seth Rogen, I think, or
he
something.
did make a game that clearly gained
It's
some great popularity,
the
but
thing is, it's a deep game. It's just it was
too easy to clone.
it really is. And you know, props to him for making a franchise that exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I mean, I don't see the appeal personally, but I can understand why he did it. I mean, it's a fun game within itself, but it's not got the replayability that I would want.
I believe I've seen Dead by Daylight, but I don't know too much about it. I'll look into it later.
I'll have to
okay.
check it out.
I don't think I've even heard of Dead by Daylight.
Actually, I'll just look it up right now. I'm sitting in front of my computer. Is it on Steam?
Yes.
Hang on. If it's on Steam, then let me just do this here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's on Steam.
As soon as I learn how to type again.
Is it Zombies? Oh no, that is not. That is not a zombie.
Are you sure? Maybe just a psychopath or like a really weird zombie.
Yeah, he looks. Oh,
It's a
actually,
multiplayer game.
I
The
did see that one actually here recently. Up in my in the upcoming list for Steam for the next while and a half, and I was looking at it going, that could go really well or really, really badly.
Speaking of which, okay, you and I need to start checking out Guns of Icarus because you've got it now, and you and I need to start messing around with it.
You know what? We will actually get on that. Like I said, I've got to. I will have to since it was given to me. I do have to review it, and that would actually be a way to do that. Um,
Looking at that by Daylight.
Probably sometime we will have to get on that sometime this week.
Okay. Well, as long as I ain't working, I'm good. I
Yeah.
just got out of school, so
Okay, right on.
Nice.
Uh, and then we can do some more chatting about the about your premise and how that's all going to come together. I think at some point because it sounds like a really interesting little concept, and it's something that maybe you guys could use some help organizing.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, we could use all the help we can get. Like
especially
yeah,
seeing
exactly.
as you're so. It also helps that you're a very experienced writer in
Oh
terms of
yeah,
like.
speaking of that, I heard you were a professional from John. Um,
Um,
to say I hadn't heard your name yet.
well,
So can
probably not. I've got one. I wrote the manual for the Sorcerer King last year,
hmm
and I've been looking for some more contracts because that would help me out a lot.
Hmm.
But I've been doing reviews and books and stuff for now for oh god, it's probably 30 years.
Okay.
Hmm.
Not that I have a whole lot published, but I've been doing them.
Yeah.
Fair
You
enough.
still have the experience, and any experience is really, as you can probably tell from just the way we've approached it, more than we have between the four of us. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Uh,
the
actually, in
oldest
terms
of us is
Actually, in
20,
terms of game
20.
design, I've got a bunch of experience there too. I actually put together solo a little thing in RPG Maker. It's not actually finished, but but most of the major systems are already in. It's really a question of content at this point.
right.
Nice.
And you guys are certainly welcome to copies of that.
Okay. Well, if you ever or when you get it finished, just let us know. If you get in contact with John, I'm sure he'll let us know.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I can forward it to all the guys, all the people here. Plus, like I said, symbolic sunshine. That's Alex,
yeah.
the guy who talks occasionally, probably really loudly. I
You
mean,
don't know of which you speak.
We know not this thing you speak of. Um, But yeah, it's a thing that I think would actually. I think I might be able to give you a hand. I might not have quite the same ideas you do, obviously, but then I'm not you guys, so I don't have that level of shared experience.
well, I mean, it's good to also be contested and questioned whenever you're making something because that's what your audience is going to do, and you want something where you know it just works out among more people than just four guys who've known each other forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's where criticism comes in. It's a
Exactly.
thing. But on the flip side, it's not something that I would. It's not if I were to help you guys on it, I wouldn't review it. So that's kind of a thing.
Well, yeah,
That's fair.
but
Yeah.
it's good to hear input because I wouldn't expect you to review a game that's in development, especially not one that's at our stage.
Yeah.
There's not
It's
really
not gonna
anything.
be around for a while.
The best
Well,
you could do is, I don't like the concept at
Yeah.
this stage.
Don't expect a 2020 release.
Yeah. So, but your
well,
input values.
technically here, this is a review of you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, fair
That's
enough. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, because and this is kind of the early part of the design process where everybody's getting together and kind of getting their ideas and making the plans, laying out what they want to see, what they don't want to see, taking input, and all that other sort of thing. So, as and it's been my experience, this is the part that takes the longest. Is actually getting everything finalized and setting your scope to a point where you can handle it in something resembling a reasonable time without murdering each other over it or having to spend 6 weeks in crunch at the end of the process.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not like we don't have our fair share of differences. I mean, the only reason that one of us hasn't killed Alex yet is because he could probably kill us with a look. So, but,
Nobody's quite that ugly. I know some people that make that claim, and
no, Alex here is a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Yeah. So
well, that sounds like a personal problem.
So, I'd rather not have a heel shoved through my eye socket in the next 4 seconds.
I don't think it would even fit.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him try personally.
You can do some amazing things with feet.
I don't think your left foot's going to fit his right eye socket. That's just not going to work.
You just have to try hard enough.
If you believe everything is possible.
Believe it'll fit.
Oh,
I don't know what you've been watching in your spare time, Griffin. But
Oh, shush. You know I got it from you, John. Your history is full of it.
hey, I have to teach you some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah. So
What happened?
Procreation?
we have had our differences, and I don't expect them to go away during the development process because you can't make something good without conflict. Because if it's uncontested, you'll never revise it.
Yeah,
And make it better.
I can guarantee you that these 3 guys are as far away from yes men than anybody else on the freaking planet. We've had all of the stuff that we've talked about tonight has been like pulling teeth between all of us.
And it's
duh.
Yeah.
Of course. And the thing is, because it was like pulling teeth, we're getting what we need. We're not
Right.
getting random bullshit that's not going to fit.
Like, I mean, I still have some things about the gameplay and atmosphere that I'll want to talk to them about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the dreamer here. I'm the guy who just constantly barges in with different new big shit.
And then tells us, hey, I need some new shit. Think something up.
And then I'm the blindsider here. So that's all me on my days. Alex here is probably the most logical of us, right next to Griffin. I mean,
Man, you wouldn't look at me first?
I feel Alex lives with me, dude.
Oh, be that way. Just because he lives with
Yeah.
That's why he didn't look at you first. Is that right there? That look on your face.
what?
I like the
Alex knows where he lives. He's seen where he sleeps, and that is not a good thing if he's ever of a murderous mind. Right? Right? Am I right?
And this man I've seen kick through freaking 2x4s on a bad day. So on a good day, on a vengeful day, I don't want to be asleep when he comes after me.
I don't think I would either.
Jay's the only smart one because he's the only person I don't know where he sleeps.
exactly.
That's why I'm the information broker.
Oh man.
He has to do something to survive.
But yeah.
John's just completely at my mercy, though. The only reason he still exists is because he owes me rent money.
Oh,
But yeah. So we work it out though amongst and it's a lot easier amongst a group of friends. I hear to work out these issues because we know that we're not gonna just up and walk away. This
Right.
is something we all
We're committed.
gonna help our friends do because it's
Yep.
something we're all helping each other do.
Doesn't
So,
matter if it takes 5 years or 10. We're gonna get it done.
And the thing is, because we all know each other, we all know what one another want to see and what one another doesn't want to see. So we're always operating, trying to already have compromises in place in our minds, as well as trying to push what we want still, while still being able to, you know, push and receive, push and recede where we have to. So we're going to mesh this all together really well, I'm thinking.
eventually.
eventually. My main concern right now though is not even so much the creative aspect as I do think we will get through that. It's what we'll be able to do with the engine because none of us are experts.
We lack a
With
lot of
that.
experience that would be
So this will
helpful
be
in the
us
situation.
trying to fumble around. Well, I shouldn't say fumble. This will be us stepping into new territory though. So
Mhm.
using the engine to get out what we want to get out will be very, very difficult, and it's extremely important, especially in a genre such as horror, that there's no clipping. There's at least minimal clipping in our games, as that will drain all of the horror
Oh,
out
yeah.
of it and just make it funny.
Yeah. Textures have to be gorgeous. Sound effects have to be well done. We can't have any sound effect that's too short, that loops. We have to have the right kind of feel to the game. Because if you make something sound stupid in a horror game, it's no longer scary.
It just
It's
becomes
stupid.
yeah.
Yeah.
If the slightest thing goes wrong, it becomes an instant internet meme.
However, just like how Silent Hill did it, they had a problem, so they fixed it by doing something really cool with what they did, and that became kind of a staple of the franchise.
Right.
And
And that's the fog that was draped over everything.
right, so just because we have limitations in some ways doesn't mean we can't find ways around it that are still creative.
Yeah.
Go. You work within your limitations. You make it all work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're still getting that echo slash distortion out of the out of that silly phone.
Is that
Here,
the,
close the door back. We've got the fan off in this room. We've got it's like 105 freaking degrees in here because you know.
it's not that hot. You're just hot. Not
Why,
in a
thank
good way.
you.
Not
Oh,
in a
No,
good way.
no.
I am the human heater. Sorry. Hold on.
It's probably because you're wearing 3 blankets. Why?
I'm wearing one blanket,
It's a big
and it's
blanket.
because I'm shirtless.
Well, you think
No one wants to
no,
see
I
it.
needed to hear that. It's,
That sounds like a personal problem on your end.
I don't like
it's
wearing
a problem
shirts.
for us all.
I'm sorry, Alex.
All right. So it looks like you guys are well on your way.
Oh yeah, we as you can tell, we're all excited about this. We joke around a lot, but in all seriousness, we're all comfortable around one another whenever it comes to what.
Working on what we need to get done. So we're joking around now, but I can assure you we're more serious when we're trying to work out what we're actually going to put out in the game.
Right.
You know, you can't have slaughter without laughter, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And now, lovely atheist Catherine here says, speaking of killing, who's going to kill Mello? I don't know. I think I might actually try and I think I might actually get my butt over to the UK and slip some Adderall into his coffee supply. That might help.
Well, I mean, Hitman needs an episode 3, so you might be able to make a call and get him put in.
Well, if I had a way to make a call that far, I'd have rung him up already and said, "Hey, what's going on here, guys?"
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. So since I've got you all here, let's talk about digital homicide for a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
We were kind of hoping to have Demonsword here for this because he's actually got a stake in it, and Mello actually had some of my evidence. That's okay. We can still talk about some of the things that they're planning on doing, and present the evidence a little later. So as we all know, digital homicide here a while back decided to sue the shit out of Jim Sterling.
Right.
They wanted $10 million, and they put up an addendum. And I think I think it was you, John, that promised me a copy of the addendum. I don't know if you've got hold of the nice person that actually has a copy of that now.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Okay. What? What?
That's a no.
I've completely forgotten, and I apologize. What was the addendum again? I'm sorry.
The increase from $10 million to 15.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that wasn't you. That was actually Demonsword that did it. I'm sorry. My
Okay.
apologies.
I was
I
thinking.
accuse you of something that you were not guilty of.
I was like,
Demonsword
oh,
was going to get me a copy of the addendum, and we haven't got that yet either.
okay.
If he's watching, then that would be if he has that, that would be absolutely great.
Yeah.
He can send me a link, and then I can post the link to the chat so that everybody else can see. But
God, I need something this time.
apparently the judge shot that down. He wasn't in the loop and shot the addendum down wholesale, which means it has actually the lawsuit has actually been seen by a judge at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's gotten further than I expected, especially for the ridiculous amount they're asking for.
Uh,
What, what prompted all of this crap again?
They didn't like Jim Sterling's review.
Well, I know that
of the
much.
slaughtering grounds.
So they basically are trying to sue him for $15 million, or
Well,
well,
it
10
was
million.
the original filing was for 10 and change. Um, Come on.
Nice site.
Yeah, no kidding. This is Digital Homicide's actual thing here.
Well, that kind of shows what they're like.
Mm-hmm.
They've got it all framed for us right in the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Is this under the About Us?
No, that was actually their main site. They seem to have taken they took down the filing, so apparently they don't actually have a copy of it up. See, that's actually their main site. Indie development at its finest. Shop our store. Their blog, their this, their that. You know, the games that you have available today. They actually put a bundle on itch.io. It was $1.50 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I understand that they're selling these for like relatively low price, but that doesn't give it the excuse for being crap.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is just a quick question. This Digital Homicide is run by two brothers, right?
Yep, James and Robert Romine. Look, they want $4 for Kragmor here.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I've heard that even though their game was terrible, they did receive unfair feedback and harassment from Jim.
well, have you actually looked at what Jim Sterling had to say about it?
No, I did not watch the whole video, but I did see parts of it.
Okay, what you want to do is you want to go back and you want to look at the original video. It was a 10-minute video that Jim Sterling did. He played the Slaughtering Grounds for 10 minutes, and as a first impressions video, it was one of his squirty play videos, and he didn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, they had a meltdown. They put up a review the reviewer thing, in which they said, well, if you're going to do a review, you might want to play it for a little while, blah, 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 calling him a fucking idiot, dubbing him Jim fucking Sterling's son.
I also heard they like put his likeness in the game or something.
I don't know. I don't know that that was actually for. I don't think that was for Slaughter and Guns. I think it was for a different game, and I forget which game it was.
Okay.
Um, um, where's the bundles? Um, yeah, I have to search bundle now.
I'm gonna try to look up a bit more while you're searching.
Yeah, I remember y'all talking about this, but I've been really shaky about being able to watch the streams just from hours that I work. So it's not it's not easy to get hold of them.
Apparently, they killed said bundle, but it was $1.50. Here we go. I don't know. I don't see the reference to the bundle, but I paid $1.50 for all the games they had on itch.io, with promises of Steam keys for those who actually wanted getting greenlit and released there, and I crack at all the future games. Now, Mel and I had the opportunity last night after the stream to talk to James on Dungeons and Kragmor. He was hanging out there. Mello went in first before we found out that they had actually lied about about changing the price tag when it went to full release. And I have some evidence of that as well. Matter of fact, okay. Go. That's not what I'm looking for. Where'd it go? It's not on. Must be on the other one. Here we go. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. Yes. Here's an Imgur image of their early access bit, and it says base pricing for Dungeons of Kragmor will not go below its early access release price except for scheduled sales. Now, the early release price was $12.
Correct.
Okay, this was not actually a question. Now, here is the current this is the current price. Okay.
I can't see it from where we're sitting. Sorry.
Right there, down there at the bottom. Now, let me show you the actual Steam page.
Okay, so okay.
We all know that it was. We all know that it was $11.99 a couple of days ago.
Right.
It came out of early access yesterday, and its base price is here. Base price of 99 cents and a current sale price of 59 cents.
Wait, so they started off at 12 and they dropped it down to $1?
They dropped it to $1 when they dropped it to $1 at, see here, $12 right here. This is from the Wayback Machine. There's the original $12 price tag and the early release act, and that was the claim of the early access release price.
Wow.
Base pricing will not go below that number. Today's number is right here, 99 cents.
Actually, it's 40% off too.
And it's well, that would be a scheduled sale, you see.
Don't they have to approve those?
They did approve that. It was as far as the sale goes, all the publisher has to do is say, I want to put it at this rate off for release or for whatever reason, and that's it.
So not only did they gyp all the people who, essentially helped them in early access
And lied to them.
and absolutely lied to them,
Yeah.
they essentially are spitting in their faces even more by essentially having the already 1/12 of the freaking price
by another
halved.
40%.
Good lord!
After sales taxes, it cost me 64 cents.
Wow, that's just
64 cents.
that is just downright nasty.
Mhm. Now I have 1.2 hours on it. I spent an hour and I spent the better part of an hour and 20 minutes yesterday or last night sitting there between asking James Romine questions and having him be polite at me. Um, just to kind of get an idea of what he was up to. He talked to Mello, and Mello actually left me a piece of video. Oh, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, come here, come here, come here, come here. Nope, show all down. Let's come on. And let's see, what did I do with it? It's here somewhere. I have a piece of footage here that Mello took last night. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I did with it. Probably. Oh no, I think I know what happened to it. Give me just a second here to grab it. It's not actually. It's not actually in its current location, or it's not in the location it was downloaded to.
So, were you just trying to kiss your ass so you'd stop talking shit about it, or?
That would be if I had to guess, that would be what it would. That would be my guess. Yes.
Okay. So he was
Uh,
just trying to get himself out of the spotlight.
well, and then they also told me directly that they weren't planning that they were canceling the games. They were canceling any other game development, with the exception of maybe some patches for Dungeons of Kragmor, with the intent of spending the bulk of their time pursuing various lawsuits.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I just looked up a bit on more of their games outside of Slaughtering Ground, and I'm seeing mostly negative about all of their games.
That's because most of their games. Have you ever played any of their games?
No, I have not.
I don't
You
feel
might.
like wasting my money.
Yeah. But I'm hearing people are like asking for reviews on a game they bought for 64 cents or a game they bought for $2, and that says a lot to me because I bought some bad games before and just went, oh well. But if you're at trying to get a review on a $2 game, that that's not a good look for the developer.
Especially since this game here is like freaking not even $1, and people are already. I guarantee you, in the reviews, they're probably tearing this apart.
Yeah, actually, and honestly, for the vast majority of it, this really is deserved.
I don't doubt it.
Come on, it's got to be here somewhere. What did I do with it?
What they probably need to do is stop attacking Jim Sterling and wasting their time on this lawsuit, which is clearly not going their way, and like make better games from what I'm hearing. And I haven't done like an extensive amount of research, but from what I just looked up and the bit I did know about this issue beforehand.
Oh my god! I know what this is. I've actually no. This isn't the same game. This is a game that they ripped off. What was that game you were playing a while back, Alex? The one with like the mage, the fighter, the shaman, in the pre-built, like where you could build your own maps. That you were trying to get all of us to play. It was
Talking about, I can't remember the name of it.
Counter Strike?
Yeah.
Counterspell.
Counterspell. Counterspell.
This is a reskin of Counterspell, which is free, by the way, isn't it?
No, it's like $6, but it's still in development. It's past 1.0 release, but it still has active development, and it's moddable.
I'll see if I can't grab you a link. But I can guarantee you it's a far, far superior gaming. I might even put something out.
There you go, Counterspell, $7.
it is much better. Let me see if I can. Where would I grab the link to this? Um,
Actually, how about you guys pass me the link?
no, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to send it to you. I'm trying to figure out how I do that.
It's on Steam. You can just look it up. Just
Well,
type in counter spell.
okay.
Yeah, it's just counterspell. It's like one of the. It's probably about as soon as you get counter S down, it'll be right there.
There you go. $7.
And it looks far superior.
So
It's granted,
Nope,
I
that's
will
not
give
what I
it
want.
the other one probably has a little bit better looking graphics, but
probably actually considerably, but
I mean this only needs 1 gig of RAM to run. That just tells you how like
it's bare bone.
yeah, it's supposed to be a minimalist game.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be something ridiculously stupidly over the top.
Right.
And from what I can see from, I'm about to check the requirements on this. You need it. This
8
is
gig.
it's recommended 8 gigs for essentially a reskin of another much better game.
Yeah, it really does have like
It looks like
feel.
they're just from this intro video. It just looks like they added more particle effects.
That's
Yeah.
really it. They just put like an extra texture over it.
How
Okay.
fast have they been putting out their games? Because it seems like I don't know how long the CL has been running, but they seem to have a decent number out for all of the backlash they've received.
Well, it's not a question. It's not a question of a decent number of games that are out. It's a question of how many games have they put out in the amount of time that they've actually been working. And the answer to that is a lot, way too many.
Yeah, that's what it's been looking like to me. Like they put out way too many, and nearly all of them have just been trashed, and not even by just Jim Sterling. I'm seeing other YouTubers and just commenters trashing most games they put out.
Hey, what's Mello's Steam account name?
Same as the one in his YouTube name. Actually, it's Mellow_online1.
He's got this game recommended.
Huh? Which game?
Mellow-
Kragmor?
Yeah,
Huh? No, I haven't seen that.
yeah,
Uh,
3.9 hours on record. 3.9 hours on record. Yeah, he's got. It's the first review.
okay. Let me show you here.
Okay, we're looking. Well,
This is this is their green light. This is their green light queue. Okay. So you have 3. Okay. This is just the green light queue. Okay. 1, 2, 3. By 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 27 games here, and not all of them have, and not all of them are actually, represented.
they. Dadgum.
Yeah, that's way too many.
There's a
Yeah.
few. There are a few that there are a few I actually have access to that aren't here, and that doesn't include the stuff that's already been greenlit. Um, Actually, Starship Nova Strike is still here. That's actually on Steam, as is Krog Wars, but the Slaughtering Grounds isn't here. Um, some of the other games that are officially on Steam, they're not here. Um, their list of games that are actually on Steam. Um, let's do a search here. Um,
Mello's got some splaining to do when he get back.
well, he probably didn't realize it was a reskin of another game. And if he did realize that, then there's a. I really don't think he really realized that. Okay, so here's let's grab the. See, that's actually my curator page. I don't, in fact, recommend this game. It's cucking bollocks, and the developer should change its name to Digital Suicide. Avoid at all costs. Okay. But this is the list of games. Here's a further list of games that are actually on Steam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only 2 of which, Starship Nova Strike and Kragmor, are still on their page.
Dang.
Okay, and they've only actually been in business. Their very first game, the very first game that they released, was The Slaughtering Grounds, October 31st of 2014.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to see because it looked to me
They
from
haven't.
just
They've only been putting games out for a year and a half now, and and they've got this many games piled onto Greenlight, piled onto Steam, piled onto itch.io. I mean, there are games that they have that aren't actually listed in their green. There aren't actually listed in their Greenlight.
I
Okay.
think what their strategy is probably just to throw as many games out to make as much money as they can out of just sheer.
out of controversy, so people can buy it and give it a negative review, and they still have the money from it.
Okay. Here we go. Here's the thing: Reginald's Nightly Duties and Gnarltooth's Revenge. These are, in fact, the same game, one reskinned over another.
Wow.
Hovering Helideath is Hovering Helideath is Starship Nova Strike. Starship Nova Strike was actually built on Hovering Helideath's project. And I know this because I actually have footage of the itch.io version of Starship Nova Strike from the day before they pushed Kragmor and Starship Nova Strike up to that day. Mello and I reviewed the itch.io versions, and up in the upper left-hand corner in the windowed mode, you actually see it says Hovering Helideath. And that footage is actually on the first review, the dev video from 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, about a month ago. It was towards the end of last month. Okay. I don't actually have a copy of Asholes. It wasn't on itch as far as I remember. Nor do I have a copy of Temper Tantrum 2, which is also not currently on itch.
I love they actually have freaking ET on there.
It's E sub LT, the extra large testicle.
Are you... Wow. Okay then. That's I can't even. I guess they just have the balls. They need to change their name from digital homicide to digital suicide because that's how you commit it. Doing what you're doing right now.
Okay, what they're doing is, and they said a while ago apparently that they weren't going to do any more development on Dungeons of Kragmor because it wasn't as profitable as it could be.
So instead of developing it, they just stole another game and put it out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of this lately.
Okay. Well, there is one thing to put out a bad game, because if you put out a bad game, it might take me a while, but I'd be willing to give your company another try. But to outright steal other people's work is just unacceptable.
Okay,
And I personally know I will have nothing to do with them. I never have, and I'm convinced that I never will at this point.
okay. Now, just to give you an idea what's going on here, this is a Steam Greenlight trailer for Six Nights at Susie's. Just observe. Just observe.
Wow. Wow.
Are you just What is your?
What the hell?
You're slapping the woman, slapping all of the blood out of the woman, so she'll give you the money that she made whoring out, and that she's not giving you. And you get to watch. You get to watch them through the little camera buttons.
Are you?
Are you kidding me?
No, 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 no. I don't have a copy of that one either.
I,
I don't have copies of As Whole, Six Nights at Susie's, or Temper Tantrum 2. All of the rest of this was on itch.io, and I've got copies of it all.
I can't think of a response
That's just
to
messed up.
that last
Yeah.
one.
Okay, here we go. Let's show you this here. Here is Gnarltooth's Revenge. Okay. Looks okay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Doesn't-
far.
Doesn't look horrible.
Okay. Okay. Boss here.
That's what. At what time is that? I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with you on my computer as well.
It's about 1 minute for the boss footage.
This looks familiar.
It does look for. Is this just Donkey Kong?
No, no, no.
No.
Now, let's show. Now, this is the Steam Greenlight trailer for Reginald's Nightly Duties.
Reginald's Nightly Duties. Oh, misclick.
Look carefully.
Wow.
It's just
That's
a
exactly the
reskin.
same.
It's
Wow.
a flat out
The
reskin.
boss fight.
It's
is
a-
exactly the
yeah.
same.
It's a project. It's what I like to call a project flip. They flipped the freaking project, and all they did was they changed the graphics. The power ups are the same. They even used the same. They actually, and the only thing they really did as far as changing anything else in the game was they inverted the text. It's even the same damn font.
Wow.
This is just terrible business practices, and
Okay,
just,
this gets
That's more
better.
than just a little lazy.
Mhm.
That's
Okay, this is the Steam Greenlight trailer for Hovering Helideath. Observe and admire all the things that are going on here.
ring heli death.
Okay,
I actually have seen a game like that. There's a Flash game like that online.
probably true. There's probably no end of Flash games like that.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
Mhm.
now, okay, here's the Steam Greenlight trailer for Starship Nova Strike.
Oh boy.
it's
The same gameplay again.
Yep.
just completely reset.
So they're just reskinning games and selling them as though they're completely new.
Yeah. That's actually that's one of their more obvious crimes. It's not the only folks that do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Here is Wyatt Derp.
So it's just like this what kind of like a
Space Invaders Galaga thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the Steam Greenlight trailer for Wyatt Derp 2.
Oh, a new camera angle.
Oh boy,
Wow. Fantastic.
Okay.
dang, that's something you can do.
It's really innovating there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this gets better. This is the Steam Greenlight trailer for Kragmor. And this one actually got onto Steam.
Oh god.
Wow.
Are you serious?
As a heart attack. In fact, if you do it wrong and you like die there and you die,
Hmm.
while and your game ends, the next game will start looking at the whole thing top down rather than a side view.
It's just direct
Ugh.
rip-offs, reskins. I'm not surprised by all the terrible reviews and all of the negative feedback.
Okay.
I wasn't in the beginning just because of the way they handled negative feedback to begin with, but this is ridiculous.
It's
Okay.
just garbage.
Now, see if you recognize this. It's a Steam Greenlight trailer for Winged Knight's Penetration.
Okay.
Has anybody been around the block enough times to know what this actually is? What game
I
is
can tell
this?
you it looks familiar. I can't
Yeah, I can't really
can't
place it.
pinpoint the title.
I don't play
It's
enough.
an old arcade game. Come on, folks, you know this.
Oh Lord, I think I know what this is. I can't remember. I'm terrible with names. This is Winged Knights, right?
Wing
Winged
Knight's
Knight's Penetration.
penetration.
Yeah. Wait,
Oh,
wait.
yeah. Actually, they even had like games from like when Flash era was ridiculously big. There was something exactly like this, except it looked a lot better.
Yeah, I
Hold
can't
on.
place the name, man. What is it?
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm looking for it. Okay. This is a YouTube video from based on a game from the old Atari games.
Yeah.
Joust.
Watch.
Okay.
Williams Electronics. They've got 5 minutes here, and
Exact same game.
That's ridiculous. That's just.
You mean to tell me that they
They have that little imagination. They have that.
They're just
Just wow.
this has just been this
did
has
they
been
really expect
ridiculous.
people not to find this shit out?
it
Like,
took me less than 15 seconds, which should give you an idea. Okay.
I mean,
Now
I
they
can
wonder why
understand.
people talk shit about them. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Try this on for size. This is the Steam Greenlight trailer for Assault on Orion 7.
Oh,
Oh, I know exactly what this is ripping off.
are you serious? Are they really gonna?
Wow.
I can't. I can't do this anymore.
Kidding.
Oh no, this gets better because that's not even the worst of it.
You're kidding.
Okay. No, it's not.
Oh,
Now let's go back and let's look at the one you guys poked out here. ET, right? Everybody's seeing the ET and the T. Nobody's noticing that little lowercase L down there. Is ET the extra large testicle? You were a big hairy testicle running around impregnating all the women's.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
And it controls like a dead elephant. Actually, the dead elephant's probably doing a little better.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That. Wait a minute. Is that like the what was it where you basically like wrap up everything into one big sphere because you're trying to create stars?
Katamari Damacy, you're thinking.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
PS4 game.
That
Except
would be kind of the idea, but that's not the way it actually winds up working. Your job is to impregnate all the women's
That's
and kill all the alpha males.
surprised at the fact that these games are even getting out. I mean, there is, you should be free to make what you want to make, but like, really, man, well, you go make this. It's just
This
a
is
shame.
more or less Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
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 Okay, it wasn't a great movie originally. So okay,
Oh.
what did he do with the other one? Oh, it looks like he's. Oh, that's right. Now, let me show you this game real quick. This is Temper Tantrum 2. Little Johnny's gotten all big and he's now destroying the city. rather than his babysitter's house. Okay.
What a concept.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Totally. Completely.
Okay. Now, usually when one does a sequel, they do something new with it. Right? Right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You add something new, like a new element to the gameplay, at the very least, a new area, something.
Mhm.
I've got the original Temper Tantrum pulled up right here too.
Uh huh. Here's the trailer for Temper Tantrum.
Yeah.
It's the exact same.
Exact same, except the kid is in
A
underwear.
diaper.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a diaper.
It's a diaper.
Yeah.
Wow.
No camera control. Most of their games have no volume control.
They don't
Uh,
have volume
They
control.
don't have volume.
no,
control.
no volume control. If I
Wow.
fire up digital homicide game, chances are I'm going to get my eardrums blown out, and I have to go in and turn it down manually using my freaking computer.
Wow.
Wow. I
Okay.
really hope they're proud of themselves.
This
And
is
yet they think this is worthy of producing lawsuits. Okay,
$10 million lawsuits, bare
more or
minimum.
less.
Maybe
And
even
of course,
50.
right. Part of what they had to say yes last night when we talked to them was that they had another lawsuit coming up against 18 individuals, all part of a group um, that have been putting together a list of shady developers, people to fucking avoid. Okay, now you guys remember I showed you down here. Where was it? I showed you Wyatt Derp 2, and
Yeah.
Kragmor, right? We have
Yeah.
these here. We have
Yeah.
Wyatt Derp and the sequel to Wyatt Derp on green light at the same damn time.
Wait, what? You mean like they haven't got that game out yet?
So
But
the
they're
first game isn't out, but the sequel's also on green light at
Yep.
the same time as the first game.
Yep. Now,
That's
does this look familiar to anyone?
wait a minute. Is that not just the
Yeah.
Western game that we were
Yeah,
just
yeah,
watching?
yeah,
that's
Wyatt
exactly
Dirt.
That's
Wyatt.
Wyatt Derp all over again.
All over.
Okay.
Again.
But this is Withering Kingdom Flurry of Arrows. Okay. There's the upgrade shop even that you saw in the Krog Wars footage. Okay.
Oh my god.
And here is Withering Kingdom Arcane Wars.
Let's see how many times we can reskin the same freaking game.
Uh-huh.
Maybe people won't notice.
Yeah.
No, people noticed. He
Maybe
changed.
Steam will greenlight one of them.
What?
Jesus.
Yeah,
So
sooner or later, one of them will get greenlit. Right? Krog Wars did.
What?
Krog Wars did. Krog Wars is for sale on greenlight.
That's
Okay, I'm gonna click this one here. What else? Let's look at the page here. Now they currently want $4 for Krog Wars.
I wouldn't even give them a
Here's
penny.
their game. Here's their their gameplay trailer.
You don't even move the freaking ship. You move the everything. You move it the entire like map.
Yep. There's the upgrade shop.
That's lazy. That's beyond lazy.
Bonus round.
yeah.
But if you if you hit tab, and they don't actually explain to you how this works, okay? Because Mello found a glitch in here, in with having to do with the shop. You can actually cheese the crap out of this.
There's a glitch in this game. I can't even believe it.
Oh, there is a
Thank God
glitch.
they made
There
it.
is a glitch for hell. There is a glitch from hell. Let me grab the glitch. Actually, I have footage of it on my YouTube channel.
Mm.
Okay. Let me just grab that. I have to actually grab my video list. It's actually it's been long enough here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not that one, not this one. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Okay. And this was an hour and a half video we did that Mello and I did for the first time a while back. Okay. Grab this here and then do this so that we actually have all of the little windows here. Okay. This is actually the video that we did. And the Kragmor's footage starts. Okay, this is my Kragmor's footage here. You can tell from the background. From the background today is actually the same one we've got right now. Ant-Man actually took off a while ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
I noticed, but it was like way too late.
Yeah, so did I. Don't feel bad. Now, this is after I finally figured out how to get the 3D mode working. Because I'm going to mute that here. But I was at this particular moment, I'm complaining about how sloppy the gameplay is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, no, this is actually Mello's footage.
Hmm.
Okay, no, I'm gonna let this run because he's gonna discover the glitch in a moment, and it's gonna be absolutely what he does with it is absolutely hilarious. Okay, I think it's this next. I think it's this next phase. See, that's what it looks. That's what the bonus round looks like in 3D mode normally.
Uh-huh.
So crap loads of particle effects and colorful flying saucers.
Now, watch because he just did it. Now he's going to abuse the shit out of it.
Wait, oh,
Oh,
it clears off all the.
the way.
No, it stops them. It stops the enemies in their tracks.
Yeah.
So no matter how you move, they're going to stay put, with the exception of one or two. And if you manage to kill a specific enemy, it'll end the wave without all the critters being gone. So he's going to kill this one that's still moving. And it takes two for that. It takes two for that one, but all the other ones are being shot dead by one in one shot. See, he's still got three enemies over there. The next wave starts. We still got an old enemy sitting there.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
Okay.
terrible.
There was the thing I was talking about where you're actually looking at it top down.
That's just pitiful. Just pitiful.
I think we actually may have only used Mello's footage because I think mine actually went to crap. See here? This is after the boss fight because he cheats the hell out of the boss fight. Okay.
You can still see the menu come down.
Yeah.
Okay. Gets better because this is actually right after the boss fight starts. He's still got enemies from the last wave up, but now the boss is actually dropping other enemies on the screen. The boss is under the menu there, and he's just blowing the crap out of it. I went back and I checked this after the game went to full release, the day after this video went to air, and that exploit is still there.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because that's exactly what you want in your game. Is an easy way to cheese the entire game.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was pointed out to Digital Homicide. It was not fixed. The itch.io version of Starship Nova Strike also required you to shut the whole game down before you could start a new game.
Really?
Yeah. And I have footage of that too. You're welcome to watch that video at your leisure. Okay. Anyway, here is the group that he wants to sue. He's gonna sue the 18 top people in this group. Um, okay, and they have a set of discussions. Okay, asset pack info thread. List of similar groups, group rules. Maybe it's in the announcements. I forget where it was. The developer database forum live. They opened up a complete database forum for the group. But the attitude, the general idea behind this group is to is to make a list of all that are like really seriously shady. Digital Homicide is on this list. It's actually a developer blacklist.
So they're trying to sue the people who put them on the blacklist.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
But this is a list of all the things that they've got done here. You know, you look at this list over the last 18 months, and you have to ask yourself, what time are they spending?
Yeah.
You know, it's a huge list.
Too big.
It's really,
Far too large.
really big.
Okay, this gets better because in the numbers to try and justify $10 million, they're talking about $2 million of that being 2,000 hours of time lost, which they could have turned into 10 titles. This is actually in their lawsuit filing.
Wow.
Wait.
They just need to get like an actual developer in there to show you cannot make a game worth anywhere near 2 million in 2000. I mean, 10 games worth anywhere near 2 million in 2,000 hours.
200 hours per game is what he's apparently spending.
No, that's not. No.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, 200 hours is about 200 hours. If you're putting it full time, is about 5 weeks. If you're working like a proper game developer, that's about 2.5 weeks.
Hmm.
Okay.
There are game brainstorming sessions that have lasted longer than that.
Yep.
Now I want to show you something, just to give you an idea. Okay, I'm gonna grab my library here real quick, my software list. Now, here is Game Maker Studio. I've got 70 hours into it, and that was done entirely to dig my way through all the tutorials to learn how to use this setup.
Yeah.
Okay, RPG Maker VX8s. What does that say there? We're used for.
Hmm.
226 hours.
Dang, man.
Okay. And that was exclusively spent working on a game called Insanity Alley.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the game I was talking about earlier, the badly incomplete thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Badly incomplete, really, really, really unbalanced, all kinds of screwed up. Let me show you. Okay. Let me show you some of this stuff here. Let me find some footage of it. No. Do it after that. Yes, here it is. I found it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. A little more. A little more. Less. There we go. And let's bring this into YouTube for a moment. Okay. This was me. This is the game that I made between a copy of PG Maker VX Ace that I had gotten my hands on temporarily, and I'm actually talking to the group, talking to folks here. I spent another 400 hours between planning out kind of what I wanted to do, and this is me working by myself. not in pairs. There was no one else involved in this project. This was me poking around with stock assets coming out of RPG Maker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's about a third. It's about a third complete. It's badly unbalanced. I need to go through and do a complete overhaul, just to get it to fly.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually an unskippable cutscene. I'm kind of annoyed that it happened that way. She's looking around. She spots the guy that's chasing her, and she's gonna run up in here in a minute. That scene alone to get it right took me almost 50 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
as with
long time to get that thing working.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
Working,
Yeah.
and that's using their eventing process. That's no scripts, no nothing else. I was just, yeah, okay. This map build, there's another 12 hours or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then events. Then at this point I also had to do a bunch of events to um, change her character model with for depending on what she was dressed as. I change her actual class so that you knew what so that she had different abilities. I mean, I spent a whole pile of time working on this, and then I got a cop. Then I actually got a. I picked up the Steam version of RPG Maker VXAs because it had some other stuff with it in a bundle that I wanted.
Yeah.
So and it was on sale at the time. So I spent money on the engine twice to try and get this, and I still have 226 hours after that. After having bought that, so and that's what I could do in 200 hours.
Yeah. So within the time that it took for you to basically make a cutscene, a single cutscene,
And get some of the other core mechanics dealt with. They can make it. They say they can make an entire freaking title,
Yeah.
an
Worth-
entire title.
And
And
2 million.
well, they say 10 titles to be worth 2 mil for 2,000 hours.
right.
And this is a thing they put in legal documents.
Wow.
That is a claim they made in legal documents. That's not a claim that I'm pulling out of my backside. That's actually something that I read directly off the filing in another video. It was Axter and I went over the whole quote unquote controversy and actually read through most of their filing.
Dang.
Well,
We're suing for X amount because this is a thing.
Well, Kage, right about now, it's about 11 o'clock here. I've got work.
It's actually time to wrap this up. We've been kind of rambling back and forth for the last 2.5 hours. I think we're actually doing pretty good here. But yeah, Digital Homicide not only called Mello and by extension me a leech and told him that he could kiss our ass, or that we could kiss his ass. And actually, I think I have. I did grab. Okay.
Oh.
There's a. We're actually going to bring a little bit bigger. God damn it.
Yeah.
Here's a Digital Homicide post. Hello, everyone. Some of you may know who we are, and some may not. And then he puts in 12 bullet points of things that he says that Jim Sterling said were wrong. Falsely accused of stealing artwork. Jim actually retracted that later. Falsely accused of stealing assets. We don't know if they stole them or not, and we have no way to prove it either way, and they don't actually have a way to prove it themselves. This is a point of contention. We don't know how to program a simply flip completed project with no effort involved. We can prove that they do this.
Yeah.
We've just seen the evidence. falsely accused of us performing illegal business activities. Well, that would actually follow from 1 to 3, I suppose. Falsely accused us of doxing. You did actually try and dox him during your interview, Mister Robert. There, purposely misrepresented our products. No, he didn't misrepresent your products. He gave his first impressions of your products based on the game he was playing at the time.
Yeah.
Falsely accused us of being someone we are not. Actually, he didn't make that accusation. ECC Games from Poland, the mobile developer, made that accusation. Thank you. ECC Games contacted Jim and said, "Hey, you do know that we are actually ECC Games, right? Right. We're gonna talk to some people and see about suing the shit out of them." Apparently, that worked because Steam tried to kick them out. Posted our personal information. No, you've done that, Mister Romine. You also published gems while you were at it. It was on your goddamn lawsuit, and your names and address and everything else has been all over the internet for months. It had been by the time this was posted. Negative reviews with minimum playtime plus refunds to damage our products. Well, you know what? A lot of people would probably do that anyway. Negative reviews with minimum play. He wasn't reviewing your game. You bitched at a squirty play, which is a first impressions, and that series is known as a first impressions for first impressions. He doesn't actually do reviews on YouTube. He does them on the Jimquisition.com. Insulted, verbally abused us and our company. Well, you know, if you got it coming. Falsely accused us of illegally using another company's name. This is actually a retread of number 7. Despite the fact that they used several quote unquote spin-off companies to try and push games through Greenlight, so that it wasn't all being attached to Imminent Uprising / Digital Homicide. Accused us of shady business practices using DBAs to avoid harassment. You know, I think we actually just talked about that. This isn't a single occurrence, but a year-plus long string of abuse. This isn't material only viewed by a few hundred people, but viewed by hundreds of thousands of people. Apostrophes in both hundreds and thousands. As fellow developers, you're thinking it comes with the territory, and you made your bed, sleep in it. Here's an example of how much effect this has had on our business. After Jim Sterling falsely accused them of illegally using another company's name and committing acts of defamation, they were contacted by the Steam reps for a Skype conversation. Meeting's first sentence from that said Steam rep was that they were no longer doing business with Digital Homicide. Was no, hey, what's going on, guys? This is the information we have. Is it correct? It was an ambush. And personally, if I was Steam, I'd have done that already. They had to sacrifice all the games they had on Greenlight. They had just to keep the stuff they already had released up. And this is another narrative that we saw. But they named names in the lawsuit. But it was just a complete, yeah. It was a whole thing that went on there, and this was actually something that was posted in the group that I showed you a moment ago.
Right.
Okay, this is, and then what Robert told me personally last night, they're going to stop developing games. All the game development processes would cease, and that they were going to focus on the lawsuit. This is them going Anita Sarkeesian. They're going to play the victim card and hope like hell they get the same results as Sarkeesian did.
Well, unlike her, they don't have a fan base of mindless followers. I'll say, to be polite.
Well, they can't play the "We're Girls" card, and that is kind of unfortunate for them. They actually have one more game that's been greenlit, and you're not going to find it either on Steam or on Greenlight. It is Paranormal Psychosis. It has been greenlit, and was greenlit back in July of last year, but it has not yet been released, and we don't know if it's going to act, and we don't know when or if it will release.
Well, if they're ceasing making games,
Well, they have this one greenlit, they might as well put it out.
Yeah, it's not like they were gonna put any effort into it anyway. So
yeah.
Okay, we have no footage because the video is private, so we
Ah,
can't even look at it. I'm gonna go digging through the Wayback Machine here soon and see if I can't find the footage on Greenlight. It should still be there somewhere.
okay. Well,
But anyway, yeah, it's getting a little early for you guys. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here.
yeah.
But that kind of tells you kind of where some of the problems are that everybody's been having with digital homicide, kind of why and why it might actually be justified.
yeah, well, I can definitely see the justification now. At first, I wasn't following this too closely. I was just keeping my eye on it.
Uh-huh.
But now that I've seen a more in depth and thorough look at it, I
Yeah.
can definitely see that they deserve the
Okay.
reviews they've been getting.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Here is actually a chunk of the conversation that Mello had with them last night, and this is actually what we're going to wrap up on. There's another piece of video that he still has when he wakes his ass up, and he and I will I'll probably grab him by the hair and uh, we'll actually get commentary on that. And here he is. He's talking to James of Digital Homicide. Everything you need to look at is actually in the bottom left corner.
Don't forget
Okay.
to check out. Oh yeah, we're not gonna be able to see that, man.
Yeah.
But this is actually on Mellow Online One's channel. You can actually look at it there.
Okay.
Let me see if I can let me get this a little bigger. Here we go. That's
Okay.
better.
Better.
I'll give that to the guy who can actually see, and he can read it out loud for us.
If
Okay.
that video game
Let's go back.
if that video gets hits, oh yeah, I can. Okay, I can read it. I can read it.
All put together since last October. Yeah, that's what most devs intend to do. I love all the work you put into this project. If this video gets hits, it means your voice will be heard. We can generate 100,000 views in about 10 hours. Well, yeah, that's because everybody's trying to see what kind of crap you're running, and I don't think it's going to run 100,000 views anyway.
Faded into the vortex.
Because actually, the last video we did, they seem to think that their name is enough to generate 100,000 views. It's not. I think I managed to generate. It took me almost 3 weeks to get even the first 3,000 views on the video view. And it's a win-win for you guys and me and Kage. He's talking about me now.
Yeah.
Because that is actually what I am called in the internet space. We're waiting for James to respond here.
No, do not climb
I'm not
up
sure
in the
which
house.
I'm not sure which thing he's going to be told here in a moment. It's either the whole kiss my ass thing or that we can kiss his ass or that we're leeches. One or the other was recorded and I think the other one got missed. Come on. Because there's only about another minute or so left on this. So after leaving bad reviews on our games, trying to get YouTube hits, you want me to do an interview so you can get more hits. Little does he know, he's actually being recorded. And he's asking if we can have an interview. He said something about leeches. This is what we were talking about. So he just called Mello and I leeches.
Or wanting to interview a developer about their game.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what you were doing to us today was leeching off of us, obvious.
Well, yeah, it's and I did the same thing to Demonsword last week.
Oh yeah.
This is I don't know what they think their business practices are, if not straight garbage. Like it's just
Okay.
it's disgusting.
And part of the reason I wanted to show you guys all of this is the how not to do things. Okay, don't do this. Don't do it this way.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
we
is
never were.
don't do that.
This is something Jay and I learned early on because we're both writers, and I believe Jay is also published at this point. We learned um,
Let's
I've been published or you not published.
I've not been like published. I had some stuff show up for like school papers.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh,
That's not.
I got a chunk of something put in a magazine for a website a long time ago, and then I had and of course the manual for Sorcerer King. That was most of that was my work.
Yeah, I got some stuff into a couple magazines, but nothing really big. I only have one book published, and I have like 12 freaking copies. It's a first book, but
I'd be interested in seeing that actually.
it's about the gingerbread man. So if I can find any copies anywhere, I will send. I will see if I can't bring them up. But they're
You can
very.
probably you could if you hey you know what you could actually self publish in the Kindle store.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you
Well,
can.
I'll
I have such an agreement, but I have not used it yet.
I will
So,
have to dig it up. Anyway, what
so
we
you
learned
really have
early
to have
on,
an electronic copy that's actually formatted in some way.
what we learned early on, criticism, no matter if it was like criticism we didn't want, criticism that was just bad criticism within itself, or actual constructive criticism, if you meet all of it hostile, if you meet any of it hostile, you're gonna basically meet all of it hostile.
Uh
There's
huh. And the hostility will just get worse as you go on.
Yeah.
exactly, and
And that is the lesson that that James and Robert have not learned, and it's the thing that they seem to refuse to learn.
I mean,
So
there's some criticism that should be dismissed. As like I've written stories before and got back criticism that
you
was
shouldn't use
basically
the word
just
boobs. I
yeah.
remember that one.
Don't use the word. I didn't even say boobs. I said breast. Don't use the word breast when describing how a woman looks, because I guess humans don't have breasts anymore.
well,
I was male,
yeah,
and
Yeah,
that's the kind you can dismiss. But there is still constructive
inside the
criticism
bedroom.
out there.
Well, we know.
the difference is, kid, do you know what that is? And once you can figure out which bits are constructive and which bits are people just being bitchy because you used the wrong word,
right.
then you're ahead of the game, and that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I'm going to say, good show, guys.
All right.
Thank-
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Hey, thanks for coming. I really appreciate that. I have no problems interviewing devs, regardless of where they are in their process. And as many as I can see going through whatever part of the process they got going on, that's even better.
Well,
Uh,
we'll make sure to continue to check in as we go along this process. And
Absolutely. Give me a chat up tomorrow, and we'll get together, and we can look at some of the stuff you guys are doing, and maybe gonna get your planning straightened out a little bit. I think maybe if
okay,
that's something that you want to do. All right.
uh,
So I
depends
will
on
talk to you
work,
guys another time. What? I'm sorry.
depends on my work schedule, but we'll see what we can do.
All right. So, thanks for dropping by. Much appreciated. Thanks to everybody that spent the best part of a Saturday evening with us here. You guys have a great evening or whatever's left of it. Have fun doing whatever you're going to be doing tomorrow, and let's make games fun again.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Well, y'all have a good night.
All right. Good night, man.
See you some other time.
Yeah, we'll talk.